Welcome to Week 4 of MBLMN. And now, introducing your host, the man who gave Drew Brees the caca mark on his face, Mark Balyan.
Reporting live from Monrovia, California, I'm Mark Balyan. And welcome to this week's edition of MBLMN 1-8. Eshegs and gentlemen, this is all a conspiracy. I am not Ara Yardımyan. Seruj sets a regular season record for most points. 216.5 points is a massive total from the one who has not lost. And looking forward, a loss is not something that we anticipate here at MBLMN 1-8. Kamara, 41. Dalton, 30. White, 31. No others under 11. Impressive, to say the least. Who would have thought that Kenny Galloway would be on a winning team this year? Hey, Sevag. That's a Detroit Lions joke, bro. Setyan Phone Table and owner, Ara Yardımyan, started the terrible combination of Brady and Gronk. Gronk goes on to his third week in a row with less than 10 points. Seruj goes on to 5-0 next week in what will not be the greatest upset in the history of the world. Ara Yardımyan goes on to play the creator of this joke. Odell versus Sterling Shepard. We all know how this turns out. Odell blows up for 3 touchdowns versus the New Orleans Saints. Shepard shrivels up into his safe space and has a quiet 3 catches for 27 yards. San Francisco's Carlos Hyde runs for 63 yards and adds 1 catch for -3. Fournette explodes for 126 and adds 36 yards from amazing passes from the 2-GOAT Blake Bortles. Sevag and Greg tie for the 3rd tie in league history. Sevag owns 3 of the top 4 wide receivers in the game. Shame on anyone who doesn't have at least one in the top 10. Mark had another presentable game against Sark the Shark, who dropped 7 quarters on the magic school bus driving wizard. Calvin Ridley gets 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games, and 5 is double the amount of points that Jordan Howard put up. Sacco obliterates Mark on his birthday. More about Mark, we have MBLMN 1-8 correspondent Michael Jones.
Actually, you can call me Mike.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Who?
Mike Jones? We're here with owner of Eshek City Wizards, Mark. Mark, are you with us?
Yo!
Hi, Mark. Glad you could make it with us tonight. I want to get right to it. You had the first pick of the draft, and you've gone an abysmal 0-4. What are your thoughts?
Well, man, you know what it is, man? You know what it is, man? It's just not working. I don't know, you know?
Actually, Mark, I don't know either. That's precisely why I'm asking you. Let's try this. Where do you think you went wrong?
Right. I also did a lot of mock drafts, you know, mock drafts, right? Yeah, I did like 3 a day for 3 months, you know? Sometimes the chakras just, don't line up, you know? You get me, right? You feel me? You know?
Once again, Mark, you said a lot of words, but literally nothing was relevant. This week you had 6 players score under 6.5 points while your bench erupted. And not to mention you dropped Andrew Luck, who had a career game. How do you keep making such bad decisions?
Okay, listen, bro. Okay, never date a Barska High girl, you know? Ever. I've dated a witch, and trust me, Barska Highs are the worst. So yeah, that's when my decision-making process started going down the drain, you know? Guess it happens, you know? Just gotta roll with the punches. Now I teach troubled kids how to make good decisions for a living. Go figure.
Okay, I'm just going to pretend like everything you said made sense. How do you plan on changing your season so it's not a complete disaster?
Listen, okay? Alright, here we go. Look, alright? It's just going to work out, you know? I mean, what does complete disaster even mean, you know? It'll be cool, yeah.
Okay, Mark, I see your mouth moving, but a whole lot of nothing is coming out. Are you sure you're still up for this?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
As expected, this was a complete waste of time. Now back to you at the studio, Mark.
Thank you, Mark, for those words. And thank you, Mr. Jones, for trying. Mark goes on to lose 5 straight next week against first place Seruj. Hagop found himself in attendance in the Coliseum on Thursday night as he watched his team drop 72.6 points on my head from quarterback Jared Goff and his wide receiver Stephon Diggs. Oddly enough, my players on Thursday had 2, 25.6, and 9 respectively. Speaking of the 2, Dalvin Cook didn't play in the second half. Is that suspicious? No. But take into account that the mischievous half of Hagop was in attendance behind the Viking sideline. That makes me more concerned that he might have had something to do with that. Hagop tries to get me back by starting Will Lutz, who was notoriously a part of the Dan Bailey joke from last week. But even Saquon's deuce wasn't enough to cover up for Otarius Jabari's 0. The second best tight end, Travis Kelce, and his quarterback, Riley Curry, got just enough on Monday to take down Hagop to push me to 3-1. The double rainbow strikes again. I retain the Gawad Award for least points against, and Hagop drops to tie Sevog at 1-3. It's a rough start, but good things are inevitable when he eventually picks up a tight end who gets positive points. I go on to 4-1 next week against a fantasy rival and beer buddy, GG. Hagop goes on to play Kevork next week, and they share something very special in common. They both started donuts this week. Compliments of Kansas City wide receiver Sammy Watkins. How did Kevork and the greatest quarterback of all time do? 8.6 points from the GOAT, 6.7 points from Shady, and other average appearances from his remaining players account for his weak 106.5. Auden had 2 running backs score 4.9 points, both accumulating exactly 49 yards. Impressive. I would give you at least an extra 5 points for that. Kevork does enjoy the number 1 tight end, starting at the number 5 bench position, which apparently does not add to his weekly total. Bye weeks are coming. Important players are missing time. MBLMN has correspondence now. A lot going on. Waiver pickups are posing a bigger impact on your squad. Sacco has 2 top running backs, which is typically a recipe for success. But he's tied with me, so that's cool. America's team is still everyone's favorite mustache aficionado. Maybe next week Mark has a win. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Special thanks to our phone-in guest. That wraps up Week 4. Yes, I am wearing pants. Thanks for watching. From all of us here at MBLMN 18, I'll catch you on the flip side.
Baby boy.
Baby boy. Be born, baby boy.